Good morning. Welcome to this you can't hear me? Better? I don't know how much closer I can get. Okay. Let's do this. Good morning. This better? Can you hear me? Okay. Welcome to this intergenerational worship service, our annual Earth Day Sunday. The Green Sanctuary Committee, under the tireless leadership of Janet Rule, has planned today's service. Reverend Dave Egan will be back next Sunday. If you're new to this place, I want to let you know that restrooms are downstairs and there's an elevator for those who would like to use it. Please join us downstairs after the service for coffee and conversation. Welcome. The First Parish Unitarian Universalist of Midfield first gathered in 1651. Our historic meeting house was built in 1789 on the unceded ancestral land of the Wampanoag. Today, as we celebrate Earth Day, let us remember that we do not own this planet, that we're just visitors and guests with an obligation to behave with respect and care. Welcome to this place. Here we search for truth and understanding, we celebrate life and contemplate its mysteries. We share healing and wholeness. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we welcome you to this congregation. Now, Jackson Raza will come forward to light the chalice, and Katrin Fischer will say the words for the lighting.
We light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being, for the earth, the sky, above and below, and for our Mother Earth, and for the mystery.
Alice Kuruma Newberry, who is from Japan, is a Unitarian Universalist, a Buddhist, and a supporter of the UU Ministry for Earth. She wrote the following words: You can find a QR code to the entire article from which these are taken on the insert in your order of service. When we are living within these existentially foreboding times, our first response to harm around us must be to build kinship with one another. Community building offers radical hope. It reminds us that despite a world filled with trauma, violence, greed, and badness of many kinds, we're still able to claim immense power by knowing that there is life worth fighting for. When we build resilient relationships with each other, we build networks that the system cannot destroy. When we actively choose to fight for life, we're claiming what cannot be taken from us: hope. Now rise as you're able and join in singing our opening hymn, number 1064 in the Teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home. You may be seated, and now I invite Shirley Rieger of the Pastoral Care Team to lead our Candles of Joy and Sorrow.
Good morning. My name's Shirley. I'm a member of the pastoral care team. You just woke me up. This is a time in our service when we share joys, sorrows, or concerns, if you'd like. And when you come up, just say your name, remind us of your name, and light a candle if you choose, or I can light a candle. And
I just lit the candle of remembrance for all those who are no longer with us. I'm now calling on Susan Stromgren to come up and introduce our moment of reflection and meditation.
As we enter a time of meditation and reflection, here are words of Reverend Rebecca Ann Parker for a moment of silence. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting.
Now we have prepared a very brief interactive play in which you're all participants. And I have to put on my one prop. The world is going to the dogs. Everything is going downhill. Floods and storms everywhere. The Arctic sea ice is at a record low. Thousands of species facing extinction.
We've all heard that. We've heard that. We all heard all that already. The polar bears are in trouble.
In Massachusetts, we've had the warmest spring on record. No more New England winters.
Oh, we're all experiencing that. Everyone is worried about these things, right?
Not like me, I'm really worried about it.
We all see how crazy the weather is getting.
But nobody's doing anything about it.
That's not true. I put solar panels on my house. Now I generate electricity from the sun, and I added insulation in my house. Didn't you do that?
Of course I did. But it's just the two of us. We're a tiny minority. Nobody else is doing anything.
Okay. Yes, but maybe someone, we never rehearsed this, okay. And maybe someone else here has done it. Has anyone else added insulation or installed solar panels in your house? Yes? Stand up if you've done that. Stand up.
I did it too. Now, I'm not using as much fossil fuel as I was last year. Plus, I bought an electric car.
You did?
I did. Still on it. And maybe some other people have also bought electric or hybrid cars. Anyone here? Stand up if so.
Hey.
I installed, you done? I installed a heat pump. And before I did, thank goodness, this congregation, I called people and I said, "You have a heat pump?" And they said, "Yes." So I said, "Can you tell me how do I do this? How do I order it? And how can I finance it?" Well, thanks to the help of the people in this congregation, I have a heat pump. Does anybody else here have one? A heat pump?
Yes, and there's other things that people can do to help the environment. For example, who's installed LED lights in their houses? Stand up if you've installed LEDs. There's somebody who's not standing yet. There he is. He's installed electric lights in a LED house in this house.
And composting. Anyone here doing composting?
And does anybody here take their bags for reusable one when they go shopping? Stand up if you do.
We got more. We're not attached yet.
Oh, boy.
Make room for Ariadne.
And what about what people are eating? Who's eating less meat? Do we have any vegetarians in the house? We got vegetarians and less meat.
Well, looking out at the crowd, I'm supposed to say just a few not standing, but it looks like everyone is standing. Us up, oh dear. Throw the yarn up. Oops. Okay. So, everyone should come to Medfield Climate Week that begins in just a few days, April 27th, to learn what you can do, reinforce what you have done, and maybe pick up a few new ideas.
I am amazed. I'm amazed. I thought I was the only one who cared and who was doing something. but we have a whole community here who cares, who is doing something. Look, you're all connected. I'd say we're being actively resilient. That gives me hope. Now, hold up your section of yarn, please. See how we're all connected? All right. We're having a picture taken from the balcony. Okay. Thank you. Let's gather up the yarn and save it for a project. Everyone can be seated. And thank you for participating in our little action here. We now have a few short reflections from members of the Green Sanctuary Committee, and I'm going to lead off by giving you a few words about optimism, hope, and resilience. So how is hope different from optimism? Optimism is a disposition, state of mind, a naive trust that everything is going to be all right. Somehow. While optimism is helpful for generating hope, it is not sufficient for bringing about the changes we need. But hope, it turns out, is something we can cultivate in ourselves and others. And it is something that tends to reinforce itself. As Jane Goodall explains in her inspirational book of Hope, a survival guide for trying times, hope is a circular thing. She calls it a circular thing. You won't be active, Goodall writes, unless you hope that your action is going to do some good. So you need hope to get you going, but then by taking action, you generate more hope. Jane Goodall. To this I would add, by taking action together. Recognizing our ability to act with others, accepting our strength in connection, enables us also to accept the obligation we have to shed our skin of resignation and passivity, and gives us the first glimmer of the resilience we can achieve together. Yeah.
So in my other faith-based life, I work with the Jewish Climate Action Network, which exists to perform the Jewish task of Tikkun Olam, which is to repair the world. And the first Jewish climate conference in 2015 had about 100 people. The third one had over 500 people. We work with over 100 synagogues and institutions across the country to reduce their carbon footprints. Another Jewish organization, Adamah, has formed the Jewish Climate Leadership Coalition, a coalition of about 200 synagogues and Jewish groups, which was founded by 20 Jewish organizations to create climate plans at all of those organizations. But other faiths have joined in this task as well. The Genesis Covenant of the Episcopal Church's main governing body requires that all church facilities reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% within 10 years. And the UCC, they have a resolution about going carbon neutral. They have a Cornerstone Fund program that loans money for energy-saving systems. The Interfaith Power and Light organization started as a coalition of Episcopal churches in California, and today it's in 40 states, including Massachusetts, with their stewardship program, resources, workshops, and activisms, working with thousands of churches and synagogues across a wide spectrum of denominations. And then First Parish has received valuable support from Massachusetts Interfaith Power and Light in our Green Sanctuary work.
For me, my connecting to community efforts beyond my individual self began with joining the Green Sanctuary Committee here at First Parish. This was in the year 2018-19, after I'd retired. When the Medfield Environment Action and Sustainable Medfield, those are two community groups here, when they started up, I joined in with both of them as a representative of First Parish and the Green Sanctuary Committee. Consequently, we actually are known as a very active congregation here in this town in terms of sustainability and environment action. It's Sustainable Medfield, that group, is an alliance of groups of all kinds in Medfield, including other churches, houses of worship, all of which are trying to take action in some way to be more sustainable and earth-friendly. The website of Sustainable Medfield has an action portal that shows all kinds of actions that people, individuals and families can take. Also, you can join as a team. First Parish actually has a team on Sustainable Medfield on that action portal, and you can join this team, anybody, whether you live in Medfield or not, because this church is in Medfield. You are doing stuff in Medfield, so that makes you able to join this team. And you can use the QR code that's in your insert in order to do that. Now, this insert, I encourage you to take home. I won't yell at you if you don't, but please consider taking it home and exploring all these different QR codes. It's an easy way to find out about these things that have been mentioned here at this service. Our team, back to our team, it's got an interesting name that Kirsten Debate gave it, and it's called Hey, Hey, You, Get Off of That Carbon. That's the whole name of the team. She's very clever. Okay, that was her idea. And our team, we'll see if you go there, doesn't have the most members yet. Of all the other teams that are in this, but it does have the highest number of actions taken so far. So, the other thing that's been alluded to or mentioned here is Medfield Climate Week is coming up, the first one ever, April 27th through May 7th. All kinds of events through the week. We, First Parish, are doing our part on May 6th. Climate Week is going to be a great way to connect with the larger community. And if you haven't read things already in social media and in our own communications, there's going to be Goats of Dover, there'll be robot lawnmowers that work by satellite. It's kind of incredible. And then a demonstration of those. I will be leading a community art project that involves weaving with recycled cloth, and there'll be organic apple-flavored cotton candy, and information about No Mow May. That's what we have, and a book sale of environmental books. So lots going on. If you want to help with that, just let us know. And finally, I know this is sounding more like an announcement than kind of reflection, spiritual type words, but it all goes together. It all goes together, and we are action-oriented in this worship service here. Besides taking the insert home with you that has these QR codes on it, downstairs is something else you'll be able to do after the worship service. There is a large QR code set up that enables you to sign a petition that will go to Governor Maura Healey, and it'll urge her to keep her commitment for Massachusetts reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And this actually becomes a justice issue because there are new gas pipelines being considered right now that will impinge on communities in Springfield and Longmeadow, Massachusetts. And that makes it a justice issue. So just aim your camera at that QR code. This is an initiative of the UU Mass Action along with Mass Power Forward. I committed to gathering 100 signatures, but no one's going to be checking on me, but I really would appreciate it if you sign that petition.
Thank you, Jeanette, and thank you, Thea. I now call on Moshe Sugarman to lead us in today's offering.
Good morning. In the spirit of this past year's or recently concluded annual fund drive that was named Resilience Through Commitment, now's the time in our service when I would ask all of you and all who are joining in via Zoom to commit to this incredible community, this action-oriented community, as well as to support the great work done by First Parish, and then, as you know, the resources needed to maintain this wonderful property. Thank you.
Now, please rise as you're able and join in singing one of my all-time favorite hymns, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Stars.
You may be seated. As we leave today, I ask you to be mindful of two things. One, in the words of Kathleen Dean Moore from her book Wild Comfort, The Solace of Nature, remember, you are not who you think you are what you do. You are what you do. And as you leave this building after coffee hour, I encourage you to look at the words of Dr. Robert Bullard, which are currently in our Wayside pulpit and good for us to keep in mind. These are his words. The people most responsible for climate change are not the people who are feeling the pain first, worst, and longest. Share a sacred trust, live in love. I'm extinguishing the chalice. Here ends our service. Let our work begin.